Hello and welcome back to Dodge, Parry and Roll, your fortnightly Australian independent video game and existential crisis show. I'm your host, Joshua LaRosa, joined back from Japan. My dear friend Vinnie Chan's Vinnie. Hello.
Hello. Good to be back.
Welcome back.
I'm not just saying that it is good to be back. It's like Japan, fantastic.
Konnichiwa.
Like konnichiwa. Greetings from Japan. Konnichiwa. But look, it's just nice to not be, when you get to that point, I've already starting off with the rant. You know, when you get to that point in a holiday where you're like, I just want to sleep in my own bed. I just want to not be living out of a suitcase. That was me towards the end of the trip. But that being said, I really enjoyed myself.
That being said, I love that line. It's just like...
With that being said,
having said
I
that,
enjoyed myself. Food, fantastic. 10 out of 10. You always can't fault it. You got your ramens, you got your curries, you got your sushi. Look, I'll say this. A lot of white people around from last time I went.
How long has it been?
It's been almost 10 years.
Wow, it's been that long for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I had to think about it. I'm like, yeah, it's been 10 years since I went. And I went twice that one year.
2015 was when you went.
Yeah.
What was your life like back then? What's changed? Like, what was like the big thing you were doing that year?
That was my first year I got a full-time job.
Yeah.
That was it. I resigned from Game Traders and I got my full-time job, put my big boy pants on. And that was my big thing in 2015. I'm like, oh, I have money to travel. Then my friends said, hey, let's go to Japan. I'm like, sure.
Why not?
All I knew was I liked video games.
Yeah.
And that was it.
The world was a different place, 2015, right? 10 years, a lot has changed.
A lot has changed. Having to use Google Maps offline to get around, not having an eSIM. So we had to just connect to Wi-Fi at like every Starbucks network we found.
You didn't get a digital eSIM?
Not 10 years ago.
Oh, no, 10 years ago. Okay, I thought you were talking about now. Okay.
Oh, no. Now I relied on my phone for everything.
Yeah.
Like Google Translate, maps, of course, routing, working out the train system, which is not that complicated, but it was nice to... When you have to do a lot of hop-ons, hop-offs, Google Maps helps. Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say the big difference is between, like, in the last 10 years?
Oh, the amount of tourism is very real. Like, the amount of white people, insane.
And it's the last thing you want to see, to be honest, while you're there.
Yeah. I want to see not white people. I want to experience the culture, not... And it's just the biggest hypocritical thing I could say, because, like, I don't want to see white people when I'm the white boy traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are people doing here?
Yeah. What is everyone doing here in my space? But, yeah, I said to you, Power Ranger stuff cleaned out.
Yeah.
Did not find anything.
Well, I didn't buy much when we were there. Like... And I kept telling myself, oh, maybe I'm just, like, more tamed and more mature. But maybe it was the fact that everything that I want, I've purchased over a period of time. Like, if I always said to Naomi, if I went when you went, like, if me and Vinny went together in 2015, I'd be shipping boxes back as well as, like, what you did, right? Send a suitcase back full of stuff. So... Yeah. Yeah. Am I slow? You look very shocked when you're looking at the camera. I don't know.
No. It's true. Oh, sorry. You froze for a second, but it's fine. We keep it rolling.
Am I slow? Yes.
Are you slow? Yeah. Yes. But how are you? How are you besides being not looking your
yeah, I'm a little rough, to be honest. I woke up this morning feeling a little, like, fluey. And I'm like, surely this is not right. We're 2 weeks away from summer. Well, yeah, 2 weeks? 3 weeks. 3 weeks away from the Australian summer beginning in Melbourne. And you chose a great time to go away because it has been pouring down, like 30 mil of rain. And you know me, yeah. I'm out there, I'm defending this lawn like it's my,
this lawn is your third child.
My third child, and I'm out there, and I'm like, oh, the dew, and I'm out there. I've got this funny video that's not safe for this, not because of anything, whatever, but we installed cameras. Remember we discussed this a few episodes back? We got cameras. And I have this thing, and when I go outside, I get distracted very easily. As you know, I'm a very distractible person, if that's a word.
Yep.
So I went out there
now.
to... What did Naomi want me to do? I think I went out to throw rubbish out, because we've got the side gate done. So I've got the bins on the side of the house now. So I went around the back. And then I was like, oh, I'll quickly aerate this little area that needed a little bit of aeration. Then I started pulling out weeds. And then I end up with a shovel. And then Naomi like opens the porch door. I will show you when I see you next. It is a funny video. She's like, what the F are you doing? Why have you got a shovel? she's like, you've been out here for 30 minutes. Like, what are you doing? And it's funny. I go back and I watch the videos, and then it's like I've got the roller and I'm rolling the grass. Or the funny thing today that made me laugh was I'm in my PlayStation nighty gown thing, and I'm just standing there like this, looking at the tomatoes, like a real old Italian.
Yeah, it's like there they are. Those are mine.
I've entered the era. Like I think it's the to be honest, it's the only time I can really escape the in-house craziness that's going on, and have it guised as some sort of maintenance housework, right? Like, yeah.
Is this what like the men of the world have been doing for the last 100 years?
Yes.
That, like 100, 200, agriculture has been developed to get away from the house.
Yes, and it's close enough. It's a relative to the housework, to the point where you can just get away with it.
Yeah, you can be like, you take care of the inside, I'll take care of the outside.
Yeah, exactly. So like today.
Wow.
Today it rained. It was just shocking. And then the sun would come out for 20 minutes. And then all of a sudden I'm showing Naomi this patch of grass. I'm like, we've got this intrusive grass that's growing, and I'm pulling it out. Like, she's like, I really don't care. Like, I don't understand this obsession. And I don't know either, because it's definitely not from my parents. Like, my dad just like, concrete the whole backyard. Just concrete it. Who cares? Something's changed.
Yeah. What has changed in your brain that you're like, I need lawn? Lawn will be my new baby.
I think it's you know, they say your life changes when you have kids. I think I just want Nathan to like be around it. So like at the moment we've got the tomatoes growing. Like I said, they're just freshly planted, so
yeah,
very much nothing going on there. The pavers got finished, so we did the whole backyard pavers, the stones, the little garden bed thing. So he's got his little vegetable patch that is, besides the tomatoes, yet to have anything in it, but we're going to do like cucumbers and a few bits of different pieces. I've got my herbs growing, so I've got mint, parsley, chilies, coriander, and basil there. I've got a cherry tree that I've planted.
Oof.
Yeah, because everyone's got peaches. Like, I've got peaches sorted and plums. Naomi can't eat apples. I've got the lemon tree, obviously.
Wait. Naomi can't eat apples?
Yes, so she's fructose intolerant.
Okay, yeah, that thing. Fructose,
so she can't have. Yeah. She can have some things, like she'll get away with like onion and garlic because it's like not the whole meal, but she can't just like eat an apple because that's like that will send her over the edge.
Wow.
So there's no need for the apple, and I'm a big fan of the apple. Big fan.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the apple too.
Yeah, green or red?
Oh, red.
Really? I'm a green guy. I like the crunch.
Oh, see, nah, green's a cooking apple.
No, I think red holds too much water. If you ask me, I don't want to. I want to bite into this thing and feel like it's going to rip my teeth out. Yeah. I want my gums to bleed.
I want the sweetness of a red apple. It's like a treat. But and then I've always been told green's a cooking apple. So I'm not making an apple pie with fucking red apples. Like,
yeah,
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not making it with pink ladies. I'm making it with Granny Smiths.
Yeah,
Granny Smiths is the green one.
I don't know.
Anyway.
An apple's an apple. It's like a cat. What is it?
Yeah,
it's a cat.
So you've been listening to Dodge, Parry, and Roll, an agricultural podcast, apparently about
escaping your wife and child.
Yeah, lawn.
Yeah,
lawn, fruit trees, herbs, all that stuff. But we're also a video game podcast to some extent.
Yeah, I actually, I'm keen because we kind of spoken a little bit back and forth, and obviously you being away in Japan, there was a lot of like, hey Josh, do you want this? Hey, this has happened type thing. But if you cast your mind back a month ago, whatever it was, we did the double episode. We pre-recorded 2 episodes to account for Vinny's trip. We spoke about your plans for particularly around the Switch and particularly around Trails Through the Sky. I was going to say Tales.
Yes.
Very close in name.
Close enough.
Close enough. Trails Through the Sky, first chapter. Give us an update. What have you been playing? I'm sure there's probably been this, that, and the other, but what have you been playing?
Actually, it's mainly just that.
Just that. Okay.
I've been playing. Well, yeah. So in Japan, I didn't have much downtime. So it was just a matter of, you're doing like 20K steps a day. You're going out every which way. I really only had time for the flight in and flight out. And I've only been home for I got home last week. Literally 7 days from today, I was back home. So other than the 10-hour flight and 10-hour flight back, I say that with leniency. I'm playing a little bit, but I'm up to the final chapter.
Okay, so chapter...
I'm up to the...
4? 5? 4. Yeah, which is the 5th chapter after the prologue.
Yeah, the prologue. Yeah, I'm up to the tournament.
Okay,
So
yep, still got a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I just got up to it. You know what really burns me that I didn't realize until about the flight home, the start of the flight home. I didn't realize that there was a high-speed road in this game.
God, so all the town running up and down, you've been doing that.
Oh my God, I could have finished this game about 14 hours ago.
Yeah, man, that is a great... Digimon has that too. I love it. Not when you're walking around town, but in combat. But Trails has it during traversal, which is fantastic.
Yeah, so for anyone who's played like an emulator before, it's essentially like the speed up button on a emulator where you're just like, oh, I'm going to play this at double speed because why would I walk around at single speed and waste my time?
Yeah.
That's exactly what that button does, and they've put it into the game for an actual release. Oh my God. Amazing. I am so upset I didn't think of this sooner, or it didn't randomly... I should have read the tutorial. Should have actually read the manual. That's on me. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm getting to the point now where I've properly figured out the mechanics, and the bosses are... the boss in combat is quite enjoyable, staggering, stealing, impeding.
Yeah.
All that jazz. I'll hopefully finish it this week so I can start Digimon, because I still haven't started Digimon yet. Only one Jabberjee at a time.
Yeah. You can't be crossing streams with those.
No, can't be crossing streams with Jabberjees. That's the age-old saying.
Yeah.
And I played like 1 or 2 games of League of Legends. I watched the League of Legends World Finals. That's it. But yeah, man, haven't been gaming. That's
understandable.
But to be fair, a JRPG is a commit.
You're in the land of gaming. You were there.
In the land of gaming. Yeah, that was it. I saw all the games.
Yeah.
I didn't play them, but I saw them all.
Yeah, and we'll touch on that too, because I'm interested in the Nintendo Museum and some of the stuff you did there. But
yeah, for sure.
Let's jump to what I've been playing. So 2 things primarily. I picked up Ninja Gaiden 4.
Gaiden?
Haven't started it. Still shrink wrapped, and so is Final Fantasy Tactics. So really, my time's been spent between Digimon and Ghost of Yotei. So let's start with Digimon. So I'm about 44 hours into Digimon Story Time Stranger. Getting a little OCD with it, where I'm like, I'm just going to leave this running while my Digimon are training in the... You've got like... Every Digimon game has this. I forget what it's... I can't even remember what the exact title of it is. But basically there's like this area that you can have
the farm.
The farm, that's it. The Digifarm, that's it. You can have your Digimon train. And like every training cycle has like a set timer where it's 15, 30 minutes, an hour in real life time. And basically what this does is upgrade certain aspects of your Digimon, whether that is like direct strength, direct defense, magic casting, healing, power, so on and so forth. And then it's all linked to like this really interesting personality system. So unlike Pokemon, where it's kind of like, water beats fire, fire beats grass, like that type of thing, there's like multiple layers to Digimon. And this is something that's been there for a long time. Like it was definitely in the Vita games, because I played a little bit of... what was the previous one?
Cyber Sleuth?
Hacker's Memory. I played Hack, which is the sequel to that.
The DLC, yeah.
Yeah, the side story kind of 1.5 release. And so every Digimon has obviously its type, whether that's data, vaccine, or virus. Data beats vaccine, vaccine beats virus, and so on and so forth. And then there's like free types, which is like doesn't have a weakness or strength against either. But on top of all that, you have the elemental weaknesses. So it's like, if you've got a vaccine Digimon that's fighting a virus Digimon, you have the bonus of the typing, a vaccine beating virus. But if that Digimon's also weak to water, and you use a water move, it's like double. So you can do like 300, 400 times damage. So if you get the right element matching with the right, character matching, you can do some significant damage. So the Digifarms mostly use to like strengthen certain aspects of your Digimon, but also transition their personality, because there's this personality system that sits on top of all that. And every personality type will mean that as your Digimon level up, certain stats will increase more than others. So if you've got a physical fighter, you might shift their personality into like Valor, for instance, which will increase the Digimon's attack and defense. So as it levels up, those two stats in particular will keep going up higher than the others. Where if you've got a magic caster, you'll do another one. So I've been really like in the like not quite min-maxing everything, but like I'll have the game like, I'm like, you know what, I'm not really feeling like playing. I'm just going to have this running in the background. So my clock's probably not 100% correct. I think on the PSN it's like 49 hours. I reckon I'm probably realistically like 44, right? There's probably a few hours where I've had this thing running in the background. But I'm really enjoying it. I don't play... This year's definitely been the year for turn-based RPGs for me. Like, I've really...
Clear Obscure,
Trails, like it's just been, even last year with Metaphor, like it's really been a new thing for me to really kind of, I've always appreciated these styles of games, but I think I've just been so like, I need my instant gratification, where now it's like, the Portal's completely changed my gaming habits. Like I so strongly recommend the PlayStation Portal. If you have good internet, it is flawless, like to the point where like I wouldn't play a Ninja Gaiden on it, but there is certain games I will play on the Portal, to the point where with like PS6, if they do a handheld, I'll probably still stay on the Portal for a long time if that is the way I use a handheld in the house. Of course, if you want something you can take on the go, that's different, but the Portal's completely shifted the way I play, and a game like Digimon's perfect for it. But Digimon itself, loving it. To me, it's like the Pokemon game that I've always wanted, in terms of, I know it's like a bit to compare the two. And I think the biggest thing about this game versus like Hacker's Memory and those past games was like, I found that the overall story in those older games was very much like, I didn't like any of the real world stuff. I was just like, can I just stay in the digital world? And even those games, the digital world was just like this basic, like design that you would just kind of go on and repeat. Think Persona 3 with Tartarus. It's like, it all kind of looks the same. Where this has like biomes, like it's like
crawler.
Where this has like dedicated biomes. You have like the forest area, the sea area, the town area, and you spend a lot of time in the digital world, and it feels like a more cohesive JRPG as opposed to something that is built for a portable device. And I guess the missions are short, you're just in and out. But I'm really enjoying Time Stranger, like very much. And we kind of said, I said at the start too, around that I was looking forward to this game more than Ghost of Yotei, and I think it turned out to be true. Like, I'm just enjoying my time with this. Definitely not perfect. Like, it's still, as much as it's a massive step up in budget and things, it's still like not AAA.
But that's the thing where it's like, if Digimon can do this, why can't Pokemon do that?
Did you see the leaked budgets for Pokemon? Like how much these games are costing them to make? Guess how much a modern day Pokemon game costs.
Oh God. Let's see. Wait, I know Grand Theft Auto, GTA 6 is $2 billion. I'm gonna say about 300 million.
So 300 million is like a Last of Us, Spider-Man, So work off that.
Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna say 80 million.
I'll give you more context. A PS3 game, like Uncharted, for instance, was about 20 million to make.
Okay,
10 to
maybe
12 million dollars a game.
that's it.
That's the budget. 10 to 12
Wow,
million dollars.
that is not much. I can understand the problem with, I guess, Pokemon now.
Yeah, and they basically need to sell like 500,000 copies to break even. And these things sell like 10, 12 million copies each.
Yeah,
Year on
so
year.
really cap that, extend that budget. Game
Yeah.
Freak and Nintendo, like loosen your fucking leash a little bit.
I cancelled my pre-order, not to jump to that for just a second, but I saw some of the stuff in it and it's like all the textures are just flat images. There's no voice acting.
Doesn't look good.
Yeah, no voice acting at all, even though the cutscenes are designed in a way which makes you think that voice acting is like missing from this. Like, I don't know why.
Yeah.
If I was working on such a small budget, I'd be like, okay, but we're doing a top-down, like old school 2.5D nearly Pokemon game. Anyway, but yeah, very
What
much.
the budget for Time Stranger was?
I would say probably 30, 40 million, maybe, if I have to guess off the top of my head without doing any researching. I think that's kind of where I would expect it to be.
Yeah, I reckon a good comparison of what Pokemon ZA should be would be just for in the ballpark of Nintendo's world. I would say Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Whatever that budget is, and the quality of that game, for those people who haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles 3, play it. It is amazing what they did, what Monolith did on the Nintendo Switch, and how they fit everything into that. It had voice acting, it had great textures, good graphics, good gameplay, very little like slowdown and frame rate issues, and all of it running phenomenal on the Switch. Well, I say phenomenal, like really good on the Switch.
As well as it would. I'm just having a quick look because I remember seeing a story saying that the game had sold over, I don't know if it's quite hit 1 million copies sold, but it's definitely the biggest Digimon game to launch ever. Like, particularly on Steam records, it's doing very well. But yeah, I'm honestly happy with it. I think it's exactly what it needs to be, and this is something where I could see myself like just playing this, not this game like on repeat, but every few years if I was to get like a Time Stranger style game. And perhaps they'll do like a Hacker's Memory, like 1.5 iteration of this game in 2-3 years. Yeah, I'll be happy to pick it up. But yeah, is this what you're playing next? Is that what you were saying before?
Yeah, that's next on the list. And I want to play that before Metro Prime 4 comes out, because that's on the list after that. Like, it's a good year for games. So many games.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I really I'm picking and choosing. Unfortunately, 4 of the games I will be playing this year, or have played this year, are RPGs, which are generally a lengthier game. You know, I played Metaphor this year, at the start of this year. I played, Clair Obscur, Trails, and then Digimon. I think there's another one in there that I have played that's an RPG. Probably nothing that came out new, but yeah. So, and then I got Metroid.
Yeah.
Like, I actually got to start keeping a list. I'm back into gaming now to some extent. I actually got to start keeping a list of games I played.
Yeah. And it helps when you play everything on one platform. Like, really, Donkey Kong and Shinobi and Ninja Gaiden Ragebound were the only other games that I played on, like, another platform, which was Switch. So everything else I can go, boom, 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 this is what I played this year. But yeah, definitely nothing concrete on the budget, but some people are saying online 40 to 50 mil. So yeah, thereabouts what we were saying before for a budget for Time Stranger. And I think, yeah, Pokemon, even $30 million budget, like double the budget. And you're still well and truly
double the budget. If you make a better game that reviews better, it's going to sell more copies. Because I haven't bought a Pokemon game at retail in, I reckon, since maybe the Let's Go series, which is the Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu. And that was only because it was a nostalgia hit. Oh, sorry, I played Diamond and Pearl, which was not even their team. It wasn't even Game Freak. It was the other team that made the remakes.
Yeah.
And no one liked that one, but I found it quite nostalgic having the chibi animation in there. So I thought it was quite good. But once again, limited, no voice acting, very
Yeah.
generic. To actually didn't have the platinum part of the game, which is what the other ones did. So it's
Yeah.
like very limited.
And
But
Digimon's quite
Pokemon's
deep.
a whole
Like, even some of the story aspects, it's like it tackles things like espionage and like Digimon's getting poisoned and killed. Like, it's like
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
it's
And
an adult game.
yeah, the old games had that too. Like Hacker's Memory had that. I remember there was a whole side story about like these Digimon that were being like traded in the market and all stuck in
Yeah.
cages and things like that. So it's like it's cool, but having voice acting, having like every character have their signature mood voiced, even though you can tell that's
Yeah.
like they hired like 10 actors to play all 400 Digimon, and
It's still nice to have.
yeah, yeah. You want to
I'd
hear
rather
like
have it than
Nova
not have it.
Blast, like you're like, yeah, this is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. You know a fun fact about Digimon?
Go for
About
it.
why So do you know why every single Digimon ends in Mon?
No, not
Okay.
beyond. I'd like Monster, and I'm like, okay, maybe they just kind of.
Yeah. So this is, and I was telling my girlfriend Sam about it because she's a big Digimon fan. Fun fact.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah. But because they're digital monsters, they're like digital files. So their mon is like .mon at
It's
the
like
end
their
of the
file name.
application. Yeah, so it's like instead of like a Word doc, it's .doc. So it's like agu.mon. So
Cool.
their file name is like monster.
I like it. I reckon Digimon's cool. Like the whole like some of the subplot stuff around like, this world existing and like how humans treat Digimon, and I think it's pretty cool. Like there's a inherently adult story that could be told there.
Yep.
So yeah.
Anyone who hasn't watched Digimon Try, watch that. Fantastic. And the last evolution
Yeah.
as well. Amazing.
I'm halfway
then
through the
also-
first one of Try.
Good. I thoroughly enjoy Try. But also Digimon Season 3, which is Tamers, standalone season. Very, very dark as a show. And it's completely independent to the other Digimon series.
Yeah.
I really like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, would recommend.
So yeah, I'm
But,
enjoying
yeah,
myself there. And speaking of budgets and high budget games, Ghost of Yotei was the other game I'm playing. So I'm about 30 hours into Ghost, and I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the game. I did speak a little bit about it, the episode a month ago, when I was only about 6 hours into the game. I think what I'll add to what I said last time, and this is something I've seen said by other people online, so I definitely don't feel alone in it. The game is beautiful. The game is AAA as all hell. Like, incredible. Like, you run this thing on even on a base PS5 on a good TV. Beautiful. Runs perfectly. The combat, the gameplay, the in and outs of combat is fantastic. Atsu as a character is good. I think the general consensus that she is a better character than Jin. And I would tend to agree. I think her story is great. The one thing I have felt, though, is a little bit of open world boredom. Not because
Empty?
No, not because of it's not something that the game does wrong or badly inherently as a game. I think it's just the genre. I think I've played so many like Japanese, Chinese action games in an open world with ninjas or samurais where it's just starting to weigh on me a little bit. And I'm finding games that are different pulling me in, right? Digimon, Expedition, whatever. If I was critically reviewing Ghost, I think it's still a great game. I think it's somewhere in the 8s. Like, it's still a fantastic game. But I will say I'm not feeling the drive to want to play it over Digimon right now.
Yeah.
Not because Digimon's a better game. Like, I think it's personal taste, but I just also think I've just played so many games like Ghost. And even though Ghost is probably doing things better than those games, I've just experienced it so many times.
Yep.
Will I finish it? Yes. I'm planning after I think I've decided, and I think part of the problem too is I was doing everything, every side mission, everything. And I have this thing inherently in me where that's the way I play games. And that's the same thing that a lot of people had burnout with like games like Final Fantasy 16, where it was like, the side missions aren't always the greatest. This game's side missions are much, much better than Final Fantasy 16. But I'm just like, it is very much talk to this character, follow this character, walk and talk section, hide in the grass, kill a few enemies, reinforcements come, fight those reinforcements, big bad, boss fight.
Okay, yeah. So it's kind of reminds me of how you get Spider-Man kind of thing, where it's the same mission,
Yeah.
very similar, repetitive, and it's fun at first. It's great at first, and then you're just like, okay, here we go again.
And I wonder if this is a conversation for another day, but I would love to see a shift back to more linear style games. Like my hope for Wolverine, which it seems to be what is happening, that it isn't some sort of open world Wolverine game. It's more of a linear experience with probably like semi-open areas, like think Uncharted 4 or Last of Us Part 2.
Like Batman.
Yeah, like in just a bit more of a closed space that maybe it's not mission based, but it's more Uncharted than it is like a Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And again, Ghost in isolation is fantastic. If you're a person who doesn't play the amount of games that me and Vinny and I play, and you picked up Ghost, you're not going to be disappointed because the story's great, the voice acting's great, the cutscenes are fantastic, the enemies are cool. Like I kind of like the concept of this Yotei 6, and you can kind of go at them in any order. The diversity of the villains is far more improved than Tsushima, which it was kind of like the Mongolians, and that was it. But again, it's just I've played so much, and I see myself kind of leaning towards like wanting to play Ninja Gaiden 4 right now, which is again samurai or ninja character, obviously with a sword, but fast-paced character action, not open world. So my plan is finish Digimon, and then maybe I'll go back to Ghost, but not do absolutely everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just how I kind of feel about it at the moment.
It's I think everyone's kind of over the fact that, and it's just starting to where it's like a visual perfection of a game now is starting to kind of, if that's all that's going into the budget of the game to make it unique, that's not what people want anymore. People are like, we know the game looks good. I don't care about how many fibers of hair I can see on this person's head. I just want the game to be enjoyable. And if you're putting an extra $10 million into the budget on the hair fibers of this human being, I don't want that. I want gameplay. I want the fact that I want $10 million to go to an enjoyment factor, not the visual factor. Because you look at some of the best games that have come out, they're not graphically intensive.
Yeah,
the games that shock like the gaming world, as in a sense, like they're not graphically intensive games.
No, but I will say, like, if I was making any changes to Ghost, I don't know if there's anything I would change. Like, I think it's really just come down to I've played a lot of these styles of games before.
You're nitpicky because you've played it all.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, if you're someone who hasn't played the 30 other open world action samurai ninja games, Ghost is probably on the top of that list. But it's just in a year where I'm like enjoying the weird and quirky, and Death Stranding 2, as much as it's an open world, it's like something that's completely different to every other style of game that is open world third person action. And yeah, I just find myself going, I will get to this, but I just don't have the drive. Like I usually have the drive, particularly with Sony first party games. I like playing them and being across all those. And I do have the drive to play it, but it's just not, like, it's probably just missing out on my top 5 for the year when we get to the end of the year, because I think this year has been that strong. But yeah, we'll leave it there.
Thing. We could reconvene later and actually talk about our top 5 of the year at some point.
Yeah, 100%. All right. So before we move into our main topic, Vinny, was there any highlights, anything you wanted to touch on Japan, or did you want to save that for another discussion for another day? We can do that as well. I'm open to.
We can talk. We can talk about it another day.
Yeah.
Think. Yeah.
Let's do
For
that.
sure.
All right.
Get into the big juicy stuff.
Let's move into our main topic. So what we wanted to do today, if you've been not living under a rock and online, I saw this thing popping up on everyone's kind of like Twitter posts or X posts. And it was like a photo. Oh God, my screen is really dark. It's a photo of the person. It's like, here are the 10 games that define me. And it's like, the photo of the person with like 10 game logos or game cases. And it's really interesting. Like it's not that person's like 10 favorite games of all time or the 10 games they think are the best of all time. It's more like you meet this person, you see these 10 games, and it's like, I can kind of get an idea of the style of game that this person is.
Yeah.
So I saw that concept and I'm like, you know what? This is an interesting idea. Like, we've often spoken about like our favorite 3 games of all time or 5 or 10 or whatever. But having a list of games which is like defines Vinny and Josh as like the player of games that we are, I thought was quite interesting. So with that, I'm going to do a very I was going to say snazzy. I don't know if that's the right word. I'm gonna click a button and hopefully this transition works.
Okay.
And we'll bring up Vinny's list, which is now on the screen, of the 10 games that define him. Now, before we even do that, Vinny, you're holding a giant Wiimote. Any context you want to provide as to where this photo was taken? And
Okay. Yeah.
how did it feel to stand next to a giant Wiimote?
Okay. So the photo. So for context, the photo is taken at the Nintendo Museum in Japan. It's a ballot. I was able to submit the ballot, got in, was able to book my ticket. Loved it. It was actually so like enjoyable to be there and just to experience history in that sense. Like, that was my museum. And so what they did in certain parts of the expo was interactive. So you could play the original games on emulator. They had a certain time thing where you could play NES, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64. But then they also had these giant areas which you could play games with giant controllers. So you could play. There was a giant Nintendo 64 controller. There was a giant Wii remote. There was a giant Super Nintendo controller, and you could play. So you could either play a weird custom game for the Wii that was like stacking ice cream cones.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like a resort game or something. So stacking scoops of ice cream up, and you had to shake and wiggle the giant Wiimote in position, and to make sure that your stack was all the way up there. Or you play, I think Pilot Wings was another one. And then the Super Nintendo one, which was my favorite, you could play either Super Mario World or a game of Super Mario Kart.
So cool.
And it's funny, yeah. So it was funny because it's like a team game, because you had to, someone would press the A, B, X, Y, and the other person would press the D-pad. So it was, I decided to play Super Mario World because I found it to be more challenging, and we were able to get through the first world.
That's cool.
Which was good, because it's only like a 4 or 5 minute timer just to keep the rotation going.
Yeah. How busy was it? Like,
Yeah.
everything like Japan's always like you're lining up forever. Like, was it pretty? I know it was very limited.
Japan was actually all lines.
Yeah, it's literally all lines.
Like lines for food, lines for events, lines for
lines.
lines for lines. But it was because it's a ticketed event. It was they
Good.
know the amount of people they could fit in there, and it was actually fine.
Last
able to
question.
do everything I wanted to.
Last question before we get into the 10 list. While we're on this Nintendo Museum, any cool merch stuff? I did see your tag. I was so jealous. Like, the year that we went to Japan, the museum was opening that December. So we were like 2 months too early. And they were just doing the raffles for like closed media people at that time. But I saw your tag, and obviously Mario's 40th anniversary, which is like, what a perfect time to be there.
Yeah, true.
Any cool merch that you purchased?
There was some. I did not grab. I saw like a lot of cool merch. It was like some like big giant like Super Nintendo controller like pillows. There was like the branded shirts of just every single console. But what I did grab, and I didn't even grab one for me actually, was they had these little blind boxes, and they had different eras. So it was like 80 to 2000, 2000 like 2015,
Mm.
and each one is a keyring of a different controller.
Mm.
So it's a random potluck thing. So I
Yeah.
got those for my friends, um, like for my group of mates. So I'll just do a lucky dip.
You get what you
And there was
get.
another, yeah, and there was another keyring box, blind box that you could get that it had the startup noise of whatever console you selected.
I remember it was like the stick, right? It was just the stick, and then you hit
Oh,
it.
these little cubes,
Ah, little cubes.
and
Okay.
they're in a blind box as well. So if you got the GameCube one, or obviously do that little,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
Um, so but there was a lot of cool stuff. But I was like, I need to contain myself.
Mm.
I'm fine. I don't
Mm.
need all these things.
Mm.
Should have bought all the things. Anyway,
Next time. All right.
yeah, next time.
Hi, I'm Vinny, and these are the 10 games that define me. Take it away.
Hi, I'm Vinny, and these are the 10 games that define me. Um, in no particular order,
Mm.
I'm gonna start with. I'm kind of gonna go maybe with a theme of sorts. Like I might go. You know, what, screw it. Let's start from top.
Mm.
All right. First game I ever really played that I from memory. First game I ever beat. I'm
Mm.
gonna say this is Donkey Kong Country 2 on the Super Nintendo. So, um, it was also probably my first couch co-op experience as well, playing with my older sister. And like, people need to know the struggle of having being player two in life as the younger sibling. It
Yeah.
is
Shitty
it is not
controller.
fun,
Yeah.
especially when you're the better gamer because you just naturally just a better gamer. It was
Mm.
just not fun. But this game holds a special place in my heart as being like this. This was my reason I fell in love with gaming.
Awesome.
Um, Country 2, phenomenal game. I honestly can't fault it. I think it's personally it's much better than the first one.
Mm.
It's got the bonus stages, Lost World. It has and playing as Dixie Kong and having that glide feature, adding that little extra element. Man, I've replayed this game maybe about 4 or 5 times in my life. And when I say replayed, I'm not saying I picked it up. Like I've beaten this game 4 or 5 times in my life.
Yeah.
Um, and I always try to play it with someone. So the last time I've beaten it, I actually played it with one of my friends, uh, one of my best mates, and we maybe like 20 or 22, and he actually slept over. It was one of those like old school sleepovers, being like, we're whipping out the Super Nintendo,
As long as it's the only thing
we're
you're whipping
playing it
out,
in
Vinny.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, whipping out the Super Nintendo, having a good time. And I specifically remember one point where we finally tried to beat this level. And if you played Donkey Country 2, there's this parrot level where you have to race this other parrot and you can't get hit by the thorns. And this other parrot's really fucking fast.
Mm.
And we took us forever. We finally we beat it and we yanked the controller in excitement and we reset the game because we've to our last save. And we're just like, oh my God, what have we done? And we just ended up beating it again. But we're about a full world behind because we're just like, oh, well, no, we're fine. We've got plenty of lives. You don't need to save. It's fine. No. Auto save feature wasn't a thing back then.
Lesson learned.
Okay. Lesson learned. Save your files. Okay. So I'll try and go maybe in the platforming era. I don't know how I'm gonna work this out. I'll no particular order. Next game. I'm gonna go with Digimon World on the PS1.
Digimon World 1 in particular, which I found interesting.
Digimon World 1 on the PS1. Now, this game I only beat about I want to say like 6 or 7 years ago for the very first time.
Mm.
Um, and it is a game. The best way I can describe it is you have your virtual pet. It's an extension of that.
Mm.
So you have you raise, feed, battle, all that stuff. But this one actually takes it as in your character goes into your virtual pet and it expands in the world. There's a there's a story involved where you got to recruit people to your city to um, help File Island, which is, if you watch Digimon Adventure, is the initial world where they start at in Digimon World in the show.
That's the beach area,
Um,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's got the File, yeah, where they fight Devimon, File Island.
Yeah.
Um, oh my god, this game kept me entertained for hours. Only because I just wanted to battle everyone, but then I didn't know what care mistakes were.
Mm.
I didn't know how to feed my Digimon properly. I let my Digimon shit all over the floor.
Yeah.
I would battle, lose, and then I'd always get up to like a champion. And I could never get a ultimate level Digimon.
Yeah.
And I was like, why can't I beat this game? Because I was an idiot.
No, I wouldn't say you're
always
an
had so
idiot.
much
Those
fun.
games are like obtruse. Like I remember even Digimon World 3, I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. The one thing I hate about Digimon World 3 is the random encounters, which is that the first one didn't have, which made it more enjoyable. You just run around and avoid everyone. But that game has Digimon World 1 is a very still very fun game to this day and has a very big fan base to the point where they actually have people trying to remake the game in Unreal Engine 5, and just it's a cult classic in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and being a big fan of Digimon like I am, it was like in the in the 90s, early 2000s, like it hit the spot.
Mm.
And also being a PS1 boy, PlayStation kid. Let's go with next on the list. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to go like now. I'm trying to think of like age wise. Like where was I? How old was I when I did this? How old was I when I did that? I'm gonna go with Pokemon Emerald
Mm.
next. Let's go Digimon to Pokemon. Let's compare the two.
This is my favorite
Um,
of the Pokemon games.
this is my favorite of the Pokemon games. This was the first Pokemon game I ever owned.
Me
I
too.
borrowed my cousin's Pokemon Blue, and then everyone's like, "Oh, Pokemon Silver's the best." I'm like, "Oh, Gold's great." I'm like, "No, Emerald. Give me
Yeah.
that Blaziken. Give me that Mudkip. Give
Yeah.
me that Trico." Um, it was, it did, from what I played in the Blue, it just made everything better with day and night mechanics, weather, um, the shared EXP being a function.
Yeah.
There was a cloning glitch that you could get. It was, and also the Pokemon games back then were hard. They were hard games to understand. A lot of the times you'll just walk around and be like, "Oh, I randomly found something," or "I randomly found my way through," because I was an idiot and didn't read. But I really liked how difficult the game was, and it was one of those things where I enjoyed the over level because
Yeah.
games were a lot more few and far between back then for me to purchase.
Yeah.
So,
Different
so
time.
I wouldn't mind spending 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours on a game. Especially Pokemon. And like the satisfaction you got from like beating the Elite Four
Yeah.
and beating every gym after getting knocked back and getting your ass kicked over and over and over again, like so satisfying. That is a Pokemon game that I will go back and replay every couple of years, and I'll try the different, like the Nuzlocks that I've spoken to you about, with a different rule set. Just try and make the game harder for myself. But it's that nostalgia factor of Pokemon Emerald specifically that I really enjoy because it's got Gen 1 and 2 and Gen 3, which I think is probably one of the best gens.
Yeah. This was peak Pokemon.
Um,
Like I even remember, like I had this rule. It's like I would not face the first gym leader unless I've evolved everyone in my party like one level from the base. So it
okay,
was
yeah.
like and I had these rules where it's like, all right, I'll
Yeah.
do this, and then like I'll spend this amount of time in this one area leveling up, and it's yeah, you kind of like would min max it without getting into like the nitty gritty of it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, Emerald's got in terms of Pokemon games for me. I spent way too much time playing this on Advance.
Yeah, same. And just the fact that the handheld experience from Game Boy Advance, like unbeatable.
What a handheld!
Because
What a device!
what a device. And then when the SP came along, oof.
Even
That
better.
backlight, game changer.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're gonna go maybe into. I might save my overall pick for last, but I'm trying to go into a certain era. So I'm gonna put in like some no timeline, somewhat timeline. I'm gonna go into the Mega Man Battle Network games. More specifically, Mega Man Battle Network 3. And it's funny looking at this list now where I can see a lot of my interest in games has been spawned from other media. Like
Interesting.
I'm looking so Digimon, Pokemon, TV shows, video games for me. That was a transition. And Mega Man is the same. So I remember waking up seeing this thing on Cheese TV called Mega Man NT Warrior.
Jeez, TV.
It's a cartoon. Yeah. This cartoon about a guy who had a virtual pet who was Mega Man
You like
kind
your
of thing.
virtual
And
pets.
I do. Apparently I like my virtual pets. I didn't really think about this. But the combat system, the battle chip system that they had in the show looked super cool to me in a futuristic world in like Tech City. No, Den City. Yeah. Anyway, it's the year 2000X, and it's almost like living in a video game. I remember that intro perfectly. But yeah, that show would replay scenarios of the game. So I was like, oh, I want to play this game. I want to have a Mega Man. And coming from playing nothing but the Mega Man X games growing up, this was a completely different take. It was the RPG style. RPGification is what I'm going to coin it as from Mega Man. And having a turn-based combat, which was slightly different, using your battle chip systems, and walking around the net in a sense. And yes, looking back at it now, the net resembled a bit of a dungeon crawler where it was nothing fancy and it was just a different color skin or different overlay. But I tell you, the one thing I really enjoyed about the Mega Man Battle Network games was the puzzling. Like I did really enjoy the puzzle feature of these games where it would be like, oh, you have to do something from your Navi, which is your Mega Man, and then your user, who would be Lan in this case, who's the character who is Mega Man's partner. So you'd have to do stuff outside of the world and inside the internet.
Yeah.
So like, hey Lan, you got to flick this switch so I can get into this area. And it's stuff like that I thought like really like tickled my brain as a kid. But yeah, and when they re-released the games on Switch, I bought them all. I bought the collection. I played two of them. I think I played one of them this year. That's another turn-based game for you. Let's go. Speaking of turn-based, another one. He's done it. Persona 4 Golden on the Vita.
Another monster collector, kind of.
Yeah, another monster collector. He loves a collectathon.
Don't let Nintendo
Right,
hear you.
theme.
Didn't they patent the idea of like collecting and summoning?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
It's like I'm just listing off all these games that aren't Pokemon.
Yeah, yeah.
But this was one. Shout outs to our old friend Dom, who used to work at a Game Traders. He got me onto Persona because he saw that was big. I like that RPG style of game. He's like, "Oh, play this game on PS2, Persona 4." I'm like, "Yeah, why not?" Played it, fell in love with it. Found out halfway through my gameplay that there was a uh, extended version on the Vita.
Golden. That's the logo I chose to put on the front because I assume that's what you played. So apologies about that.
No, that's fine because as soon as I found out Golden existed, I bought it on the Vita, and I started my file again, and then got all the way and beat
Awesome.
that entire game on the Vita because I fell in love with it. I actually thought the story was quite interesting. This was the first Persona game I ever played, so when I think of like talking about, oh, you're a kid at a new school who develops a superpower where he can see these creatures and he can unleash his persona, and he's got a certain ability where he can change through all the personas. This was all new for me.
Yeah.
So when I think of Persona 5 now, and then Persona 3 that I've also played, I'm like, it's more of the same.
Mm.
But the thing I
Four's
really
like
enjoyed
the
about it,
sorry, four's like the fan favorite, right? Like between 4 and 5. Like I always hear about 4, particularly Golden.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah.
Golden is probably you. I think what really people really enjoy about Golden, which is what I enjoyed about it, is the characters. So
Mm.
you have your best friend like Yosuke. Everyone calls him Brosuke because he's
Broske.
your best boy. Yep. Chie, best girl. Because she's like a bit of a tomboy who likes all those kung fu movies and stuff. You guys get along really well. Um, and then you have your like adopted slash like little sister who you develop a bond with. It's and then like there's a shit goes down in that game. And you're like, what the fuck is happening? I need to save everyone. And like
Mm.
I was emotionally invested in this.
Mm.
Um, and the art style, something I didn't really experience before. So I really enjoyed that. I actually have the Soda 4 art book,
Yeah.
and it tells like all the little character creations and little notes. And fun fact about Yosuke, who's the sidekick, he is in his little bio. He's designed to be like the Blue Ranger of characters.
Ah,
So
that's cool.
he's designed to be like the best friend of the protagonist.
Yeah.
He's not designed to be the He's not designed to be the protagonist. He's designed to be like he's like your number one guy. Like, so it's quite interesting when you kind of read that and you see it in the character.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Getting
yeah.
remade as well.
Games with
Maybe
friends.
this is the one that gets me. I'm a different man now, so maybe.
Yeah, maybe you might like the high school esque feature. I don't think you will, but
But I'll buy it anyway.
you'll buy it anyway. Um, and then we'll go into my bit of a competitive phase.
Hmm.
Hmm. Actually, not one more. We'll go to the games with friends phase is what I'll call it. Uh, so the next game, which I think is a big crux of my life, is Maple Story.
Right.
So Maple Story was the first multiplayer online game I ever played.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, it was a chibi animation. I think it was a Korean game. Now I think about it, it's like developed by Nexon,
Yep. Yep.
and it
Nexon.
was
Okay, so
a
that's the publisher. Yeah, that's Korean. They're the guys that
yeah,
did like First Berserker Kazan. That's Nexon that published it
yeah,
from earlier
yeah.
this
So
year.
way back then, way back when in 2005 ish, they were doing Maple Story, which was a 2D MMO,
Right.
and you were this little chibi character who would just jump and use your arrow keys to fight. And now I think about it, it looked like the most boring game of all time, but I had a blast playing it. It was just a bunch of quest farming and item farming, and you would just play it with. I think I really enjoyed it because it was my first time playing an online game with other friends. Like
Mm.
there was one point where I had my three best friends at the time over, four best friends at the time over, because you could party in five. We all brought our laptops and we stayed up to like 4 or 5 a.m. playing Maple Story.
Yeah. A bunch of
And it'd be like,
dorks. Yeah.
real bunch of nerds. It was like my
Yeah.
first experience with a LAN party. And then when I'm trying to think of games that define me, I'm trying to think of like core memories
Yeah.
that are in here. Yeah. Because if you said top 10 game for me, that doesn't make the list.
Mm.
But it's got such a crux where it was a game that was so nostalgic, and I played that for I reckon a good 2-3 years solid, and then like left and came back when there was like patches and stuff that happened in the game. And it was always something where it'd be like, oh, I don't really want to play it, but I'll just get sucked in. I'll just play it.
Mm.
It's just something where I could just turn my brain off, but I know exactly what I'm doing. But I enjoyed it for what it was, which was my first MMO ever. But then I grew up a little, puberty hit, and I wanted to be a little bit more competitive in my life. So I decided to play a Super Smash Bros. Game.
This is the one for
Yeah.
me. This is like the match Vinny up with one game, this is the game that I see.
This is the game that you see.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, Super Smash Bros. Melee on the Nintendo GameCube was probably the game that shaped my teenage years.
Mm.
From, I reckon, when I was 12 or 13, from sleepovers up until I was 19 or 20, would just be, I'd have a core 4 group of friends, the same friends I played Maple Story with. We would be just literally playing this game. You'd be playing 4 stock, Final Destination, trying to just kick each other off this goddamn stage in Melee. And the thing about this game, which was quite interesting, is that we had one friend who was really good, but then we discovered the competitive side of it, and we were just playing this game for fun anyway. Then we discovered the technical side of Melee. So that led to us going to tournaments, trying to actually play the game to improve instead of playing just to just kick each other's asses. And I remember playing. I was not the best in my group. I was probably third best at best. So I'd always get slapped by like the main man. But this was the competitive drive where it's like, I want to get better. I want to do better. And yeah, it lets me go on tournaments, playing the game, playing international competition, playing some international competitions. And like there was a guy, I don't think he's in the scene anymore, but his handle was Mango and he was like one of the best in America. And it was this moment that I knew that I wasn't good enough to play this game because I played 2 characters, Captain Falcon and Marth. He's like, I shake his hand. He's like maybe like a year older than me or something. I was like 22 at the time. And he's like, oh, what do you play? I'm like, Captain Falcon. I'm like, cool. He locks in Captain Falcon. He 4-stocks me. So, in other words, I did not take a life off him. I'm like, all right, it's best 2 out of 3. That's how the tournaments work. I switched to Marth. He's like, cool. He locks in Marth. He 4-stocks me again. Someone's like, I'm not going to play this game anymore.
Yeah, I'm done.
And that was it. But I did pick the game up again during lockdown. COVID hit, and there was someone developed a online version of Melee to work with like a rollback netcode, so it was quite seamless. So I picked it up again. I played for a little bit. It was a bit of fun, but that competition sparked like my next game. And I'm surprised you said Melee. I'm surprised you didn't say this game, because this next game for me is
this is second.
League of Legends.
Like just under, but yeah.
Yeah. So League of Legends, if you don't know what League of Legends is, then I can't help you because you'd be living under a rock.
You're better off.
You're better off never touching this game, because this game will consume your soul. And it started out the same thing. Like one of my best mates, Leo, said, "Oh, I'm playing this game, League of Legends." I'm like, "Oof, what's this?" Competitive game with my friends. I'm like, "Yeah, I'll play." Next minute, here I am, 12 years later, still randomly logging on, playing this game. It's a MOBA, competitive. I can't really explain too much, but I still keep in, like, this was a game that like encapsulated me both in like the gameplay scene, the competitive scene as well, like the esports scene. Like I watched the League of Legends World Finals 2 days ago, Sunday night. Like I still watched it. I went up and watched all 5 games. To me, it's the closest thing to what I consider to be like the perfect competitive esport.
Yeah.
So I will always kind of jump back on it, whether or not I take it seriously or not. I just quite enjoy the game for what it is. I'm someone who enjoys competition. So, like, I play basketball. I'm not very good, but I enjoy the game. Like, I enjoy the competitive spirit of something. And even with Yu-Gi-Oh, I enjoyed the competitive spirit of Yu-Gi-Oh. From Melee to Yu-Gi-Oh to League of Legends, that was probably my competitive streak, and it's still kind of continuing with League of Legends. So until I find a new competitive game, it's It's here to stay. um, I'll say, speaking of competitive, this one's like you're kind of competing with yourself,
Hmm.
and this is
Such is life.
such is life. And this game came out at the perfect time for me. It was lockdown, COVID hit, world's
Fallen apart.
not doing anything. But then here comes this banger game by Supergiant, and it's Hades. The first, once again, a lot of these games are first. It's the first roguelite I ever played.
Hmm.
And like I said, came at the right time and had the right theme of the game, which was Greek mythology. So, Josh, we spoke about our love for Greek mythology. You being a God of War fan. We both love Hercules, and we both enjoyed this niche TV show.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Class of the Titans.
What a show.
One, what a show! What a show! Probably the most, in my eyes, the best cartoon of all time. But I'll never watch it again.
Hmm.
Um,
Don't know if
but
I'm quite
being
there,
mass-
but yeah, I liked it.
to me, it's like they've been like, oh, Gargoyles was fantastic. Like
Gargoyles is
Class of Titans
fantastic.
was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like the nostalgia is like hitting me harder than what it actually was.
Hmm.
Dragon Booster, all that stuff. But Hades,
Dragon Booster. Come on. Hades.
Hades, Greek mythology, roguelite. Literally, you're just playing the game to be better than your last run. So that is the competitive side again, where it's like I just want to get better. And then once you beat the game, you can be like, okay, cool. I want to play this game with heat, where I can make the game intentionally harder for myself.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about the game. And that arguably Hades 2 is a better game because there's more in it, but Hades 1 is in my top 10
Yeah.
for the fact that it exposed me to this world. But yeah, no notes. Would recommend anyone play it. Voice acting, gameplay, fantastic. Like animation, like just the art style, like so good. Literally, you're just trying your Hades son trying to escape hell. Imagine that.
Yeah. The way they
So good.
incorporate the story into like dying in the game is fantastic. I still need to get to this. This is one of those like gaps. It's like Hades, Red Dead 2. They like gap
Red Dead
games.
2 is a gap for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And say the best for last for me.
Your Sanctuary,
This is
some might say.
Yeah, I like to keep it simple and clean. And this is my all-time. Where it says games that define me, I would actually put this as being like, he looks like, yeah, that is the guy. Kingdom Hearts 1, PS2, action RPG, Disney meets Final Fantasy. This was the sole reason I bought a PS2. I can remember it so vividly. I'll tell you a little history of this. My parents had to go to the Good Guys because they'll look for a new fridge. And I came along because, you're a kid. You got nowhere to come, you come with us.
You got nowhere to
You're not
go.
staying home
Yeah.
alone. And I remember walking around the shop and I see a old CRT TV, and on it is the Queen of Hearts. I was like, huh. I'm like, okay, I'm a Disney fan. I'm like, what's this game? Huh. There's a PS2 sitting there. I pick up the controller. Press the X button a couple times. I see it cut to Donald and Goofy, and they're wearing like interesting outfits. A lot of zips. They're wearing a lot of zips. And then you got this
Big shoes and a lot of zips.
big shoes and a lot of zips. And then you got this other guy in the middle, and he's got this like key sword. I'm like, oof, what is this? And then you get to the point where you actually start playing, and you're versing their cards, and you're trying to like literally just fight. And I didn't know what I was doing the first time I died. And I was like, okay, what is this game? Played it again, beat it. I'm like, I like this. You get to slap and hit stuff. I'm like, okay, all right. You get to shoot magic. Oh, you're teaming up with Donald and Goofy. I'm like, I'm about this. Literally, that was all I knew about Kingdom Hearts. And then I go to school the next day, and my friend who had a PS2 at the time, I'm like, "Have you ever played Kingdom Hearts?" And he's like, "Dude, it's the best game of all time." I was like, "All right, I'll buy a PS2." Bought a PS2, played that game, and the rest is history. Literally, like that. I fell in love with
Yeah.
it. I fell in love with the characters. Fell in love with the story. The whole essentially kid just wants to get out of his hometown. Um, and then you have your best friend who becomes your rival, it becomes your enemy, but then you're trying to just bring the world back together. Yeah, just perfect. And that, to me, that game also spawned friendships for me. Like when I got into high school, I literally found friends because they also liked Kingdom Hearts, and I'm still friends to them to this day. So
That's
it's
awesome.
yeah, so it's like the gaming community in a sense, but yeah, it's given me I've tattoos for Kingdom Hearts because it's it's that important to me. One day we'll get Kingdom Hearts 4.
And it'll be good.
And maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is my top 10 games that define me.
Awesome
It's a
list,
lot.
Vinny.
It's you know, it's an awesome list for me. And I
Mm.
really hope people can appreciate the list for what it is. But yeah, I think personally a list it's got variety.
Gave
It's got
myself
a
a
lot of
heart attack. I
variety.
accidentally clicked on something. Music started playing. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it's often like the first of a series or the things that got you into other things are the ones that kind of like bubble to
Yeah.
the top. Nah, awesome list. All right, shall we transition?
Yeah, let's go.
So let's do this now. So very similar thought process behind my top 10 games, or the 10 games that define me. Apologies. Firstly, as we did with Vinny, I'll talk about the photo. This was also taken in Japan, funny enough. I think I'm wearing the same t-shirt. No, different t-shirt. I was going to say, it looks like I'm not wearing a top under this thing, but there is a t-shirt here. So this was taken out the front of PlayStation's headquarters in Japan. I did, in fact, go into their office, their corporate office, mind you, and then get very swiftly kicked out by reception. But not before I took a photo.
Did you really?
Yeah. Naomi's like, what are we doing? I'm like, just walk in, take photos, don't say anything. And they all came out like, no, like, you're in our corporate office. This isn't like a museum or something. But yeah,
Like, no, but this is my museum.
this is my museum. I'm like, man, Shuhei walked through these doors. But yeah, this is my top 10. The 10 games that define me. Now, I thought, given my OCD brain, I will go through this list in no particular, or no, in a particular order. Not in terms of favorites or anything like that, but in terms of release dates. And walk you through how you get Josh of 2025. So I'm going to start with the first game that's actually on this image on the top left-hand corner, and that is Sly Cooper 2, right? Released in 2004 by Sucker Punch. Now, the PS2 era for me was very much defined by my platformers, my 3D
Yep.
mascot platformers. You had Sucker Punch with Sly, you had Naughty Dog with Jak and Daxter, and you had Insomniac with Ratchet and Clank. All three, very, very great series that I hold near and dear to my heart. But I have a special bond with Sly Cooper. I don't believe I ever played, at the time, the first game in the series. My first entry into Sly was Sly 2, which was a massive, massive step up from the first Sly Cooper game. Sly Raccoon 1, Thievius Raccoonus, you only play as Sly. It was hub-based, mission-based, where Sly 2 was like open world. And I remember playing this at the time and being absolutely blown away by like these different biomes. And you get to play as Murray. You get to play as other characters from the world as well. And it's funny, like we spoke about earlier in the episode, Ghost of Yotei, and this idea of like taking down the Yotei 6 in any particular order. Sucker Punch have been doing this style of game since Sly Cooper. Not in terms of like the order, but having like this villain kind of control an area, and like everything in this area is like dictated by this villain. So like for instance, you go to France and you meet a character named Dimitri, and he's like printing money Let me step back. There's this villain, right? And his parts get distributed. He gets defeated in the end of the first game. Clockwork is his name. And then the second game is like all these pieces of Clockwork have been taken up by these different enemies in different regions of the world. And you need to stop these pieces coming together and bringing Clockwork back. But what ends up happening is each villain is kind of using the parts for their own reasons, right? So Demetrius is using, I believe, the Talons as a money press, and he's printing money. So you go to France, and you're taking him down. And the whole idea is like each villain is built around like a heist, and you trying to break in to get this part of Clockwork. So every open world level, whether that's in France or Transylvania or whatever it ends up being, involves like these key things. It's like, all right, you get to this new area, you scope out the new area, you use your binoculars and zoom in and out. Bentley's on the mic telling you like, oh, watch out, Sly, hit the action button or whatever. And the whole thing's built around like pulling off this heist. And I just fell in love, as cliche as it sounds, with the world and the art style and the characters. And it was hard to pick between... Ratchet & Clank obviously still has the legacy. It's still a running series today. But I just thought the character of Sly, he's a raccoon, the cane, the stealth. It just really clicked. And Sly 2 in particular was like that perfect mix of like great gameplay, great level design, great mission design. Not too gimmicky. Sly 3 got a little gimmicky with the like, oh, now you're flying a jet. Now you're in a helicopter. Now you're in a tank. Sly 2 was like that perfect mix. Plays Murray, plays Bentley, but very much a Sly Cooper story. Man, what a game. What a time to be alive during the PS2 generation.
Oh, some of the best.
Some of the best. Sticking to PS2, I'm going to jump over to my favorite game of all time, funny enough, but is also a game that defines me today. And that is Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Now, whether you want to talk about the PS2 original release in 2004, 5, depending on your region, the re-release that added the camera change and substance, the HD collection that was done on PS3 via Bluepoint, or even Delta Snake Eater, which launched earlier this year, which is the Unreal Engine 5 remake. Metal Gear Solid 3 is Metal Gear in general is a series that like I have a lot of sentimental value for, even though I'm like recently new to the series. And by recently, I mean I played through all the Metal Gear games during the lead up to Ground Zeroes, so 2013, 2014. And I remember like I have this memory of watching the E3 where Ground Zeroes got shown for the first time and being so blown away by that reveal that I was like, again, this is Josh in a different era. Like the idea of me going back to a PS1 game then was like not really done. But I was like, I need to play this series. And I have such vivid memories of my uncle who I've spoken about, who's a massive Metal Gear fan, who buys every copy on multiple systems and keeps one sealed and all that. That I was like, I needed to play this series. And for a person who hadn't played it, I knew so much about it. Like Snake's voice, like David Hayter's voice of Snake, is like so ingrained in every gamer's like subconscious, regardless of if you've never played Metal Gear, you know that voice. And I remember obviously playing through 1 and 2 and getting to 3 and being instantly blown away by the story and the level design, the enemy design. And I remember towards the end of the game, it was one of those games where like I had a friend over that night and he was watching, he was a big soccer guy and it was like a Liverpool game and he was watching it live on his laptop. And I was like, I'm locked in. I need to finish Snake Eater. And it was one of those things where I'm like, I've got like maybe an hour left. And it was like, no, in fact, you had 3 hours or 4. Like, it was still a fair bit to play. And it's funny going back and playing it this year. Still plays very well. Story still holds up. But the game is obviously a PS2 game, so the scale feels small. But in my mind, even though I played it in 2013, so into the PS3, into the PS4 generation, really. It felt massive. So I can only imagine what it was like playing that game back in the day when it released. It would have been like mind-blowing to someone who's, playing modern games at the time. This is one you need to get to, Vinny.
Yeah.
I'm going to blow my nose while you...
Yeah, it's all right. You said I did need to play Metal Gear Delta or Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta as the version to play because set in Unreal Engine 5, newer age, a lot of easy to be accessible, but also easy to it's harder to go back as someone who doesn't have nostalgia for a game and play it.
Yeah.
And enjoy it in that sense, where because you have obviously like PS2 game, PS2 graphics, it's a lot harder to be like, hey, look, you'll love this game. But I don't have those nostalgia goggles. That game doesn't look hyper realistic in my brain like it would for someone who just experienced the game for the first time.
Yeah, you can definitely jump into Delta.
Yeah, I plan on doing it. Yeah,
and it holds up.
Next time we catch up, we're gonna exchange everything.
We'll do an exchange, definitely. Yeah, very, very special game. Moving on the list, sticking to 2005, a sequel to a game that was your final pick, and that was Kingdom Hearts 2. For me, Kingdom Hearts 2 was a massive step up from the first Kingdom Hearts. And for me at the time, the worlds that this existed in, I'm a huge Aladdin fan. So going to Agrabah was awesome. And the dual keyblades I thought was fantastic. I remember, looking back at it, I haven't played Kingdom Hearts 2 since the original HD collection that came out on PS3. And I
want 2014.
Yeah, it's been a while. And I definitely want to go back and play through all the Kingdom Hearts games. But the memory, that core memory of playing through Kingdom Hearts, I remember it feeling unlike anything I'd ever played at the time. I wasn't a Final Fantasy guy then, so a lot of that was lost on me. But the era of Disney that these games covered was my jam. Like I said, Aladdin.
Yeah.
Mulan, Beauty and the Beast, Castle.
Hercules.
Yeah. Hercules. I remember what is it here? The Timeless River. When you go back in time and it's all black and white. I thought that was all so cool, and the story, as much as I didn't really know what was going on at the time, was just awesome. And I remember that final fight. And the motion. What was it called? Was it the motion combat?
The reaction commands.
Yeah, reaction commands, and just the free flowing of that combat system very much feels like what Final Fantasy VII Remake felt like when I played it, where I'm this is just so... I've got so much control, and it's this combination of real time, but also turn-based in terms of the concepts behind it. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2, and the music. Sanctuary, come on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I could say that Kingdom Hearts 2 is way better gameplay in terms of the free flow mechanics of how a game, the way you control Sora and the things you can do in that game, even the movement mechanics glide, super glide, air dash, dodge roll, there's so many.
Yeah.
And then just the different forms and everything, every part feels different, and you can make the game feel different depending on what form you got into. It's fantastic. The boss rush at the end from playing versing all different members of Organization 13, everyone's got a very different trope. I can't fault that game for what it is. If I remembered something about that game when I first played it, I thought the platforming was quite lackluster compared to Kingdom Hearts 1. And then I remember being there's just a treasure chest just right there.
Yeah.
It's just in plain sight, and I'm no, it's fine, because I went back and played Kingdom Hearts 1. I'm oh, there's just a treasure chest right there.
Yeah.
I'm just an idiot at 9 years old.
Yeah. And again, it's one of those things where it's you forget how small it feels. In your mind, playing it as a kid, it's this big thing. It's and then you go to the world, and you're man, this is 4 rooms. It's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I'll say that the gummy ships in Kingdom Hearts 2, amazing.
If I could skip that, I would. In all of them. I'm just not a gummy guy.
Okay,
Hated
no, that,
customizing
like
the gummy. Just yeah,
those gummy missions, I
yeah,
was like on it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Not for me. But Kingdom Hearts 2 is a very special game, and particularly you can see the case in your mind, like that gloss.
yeah,
You know, the original first release, which had the shimmery kind of glossy cover.
yep. I
Same
got
with
that
Kingdom
bad boy.
Hearts 1. Yeah, me too. Me
Yep.
too. Sticking to PS2, and on the tail end of its real, I guess, it had a longer life, but God of War 2. So Santa Monica Studios 2007. It was one of those rare releases where it actually came out after the PS3 had launched.
Yeah.
But God of War 2, the God of War series, for me was like my first, maybe besides Grand Theft Auto, but like my first like mature, bloody
Okay.
game. Like the game where you would have to turn the volume down when you're doing some certain mini games, if you know what I mean, with some
Yeah,
certain
yeah.
ladies. Um,
Yep.
but I have a core memory with God of War 2 in particular where I had cousins who were way too young to be playing the game, but his dad, so my dad's younger brother, loved the character of Kratos, right? Who would have thought these muscly, bold dudes would love a character who's also muscly, bold, and angry?
Sleep bold.
So there was that. And I would go over there as someone who's like proficient at playing video games and would play the game on their behalf. And like we would advance the game, you know, every time I was over, because I couldn't get through certain elements of it. And yeah, that era of God of War, like the first 3 games, I would say, like the Zeus era, some real like they were like the first like, man, look at the budget. Like it just felt like this big thing.
Yeah. The games
So
felt epic.
yeah, the music was great in those old. The original God of War theme is still in my mind, like entrenched. I can remember that so much easier than I can remember like the modern God of War music. So yeah, God of War 2 is just like it just holds a very special place in my heart. Let's just say. But moving ahead, jumping a generation ahead to 2010. So this is Josh in year 10, so still in high school. And I see a trailer. So this would have been in 2009 for a game called Darksiders, developed by Vigil Games, now defunct, published by THQ, also defunct. I remember this because it was the Darksiders versus Bayonetta thing, because both games were launching in January, I think, of 2010. Bayonetta didn't really run really well on PS3, so there was that. But I remember with Darksiders seeing the trailer and just being hooked on this like concept of like heaven and hell and the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse and like this really cool like nearly World of Warcraft-esque art design by Joe Mad. And it was the first game I actively remember pre-ordering. So I must have had money put aside. Well, January would have been right after Christmas. And it was like the game I remember doing my first online pre-order for at JB Hi-Fi. And I went and picked up the game and they had a spare... So the game must have had some sort of collector's edition or some sort of version of the game that came with a statue. It's a little like shitty war statue that I've still got in its box. And that was also the first video game collectible I had ever gotten. Like the first like collector's edition. I remember it was $100 for the game. Back then, games were often $100. And I got this statue. And it unlocked the collection of everything that you see in my... Well, you don't see, but I have in my theater room of video games, Power Rangers, everything. It all starts with getting this statue for Darksiders. I'm like, man, I can have representations of things that I love outside the game itself in my games room. So yeah, Darksiders 1, man. I played that game probably more than any other game. Not that I think it's better than every other game I've ever played, but it's just like this comfort food that I'll go back to. And I own it on PS3, I owned it on Wii U, I own it on PS4, and I own it on Switch. So I've purchased the game like 4 times.
Yeah, that is me with Kingdom Hearts. Like that nostalgia game that I'll keep coming back to. That is my Kingdom Hearts. But
yeah,
it's funny. It's funny when you say like just that era of games that's still in that kind of somewhat action adventure God of War esque style of game.
Yeah,
Right? Like it's that PS2 era of game, but for the next generation. You know what
yeah,
I mean? And that's that. I feel like that's the kind of genre that I'm really hoping, and like you do see it a little bit where it's like coming back. Like that's the
yeah.
style of game where it's like I really enjoy.
And we're getting Darksiders 4 finally, which is actually going to take place after the end of Darksiders 1, which is the furthest along in the timeline. All the other games are like set at the same time or before. So we're only
Wow, 15
now,
years later.
15 years later, and keep in mind, the team was shut down. THQ as a publisher was shut down
Twice.
twice. It was somehow IP was acquired by Nordic Games, which became THQ Nordic, and a lot of the team that left Vigil Games was also sitting under that brand. So Gunfire, who are making Darksiders 4, are made up of a lot of the team from Vigil. So it's being made by the
Wow.
same people, pretty much.
That's cool.
Out of... And, like, I remember following this. Like, I remember when THQ went down after Darksiders 2, I remember watching the bidding for the IPs, because the IPs were being sold off to all these different parties, and no one bid for Darksiders. And I was like, what is going on? Like, this series is great. Like, why is no one bidding on Darksiders? But here we are. Hopefully Game Awards we get something for Darksiders. So you can tell this is a very special like Josh game. It just holds so much memories, and I'll bring the statue out next time we do an episode. It's literally this big in a box. It's been like, I kept the box. It was like this thing. It was like, this is the first, collectible. Jumping ahead a year, and probably the game that defines me.
Yeah,
November
this is your game.
1st, 2011, Naughty Dog's Uncharted 3. I've told the story of me taking time off school and my drama teacher calling me whilst I was playing the ship section of Uncharted 3, asking me how I was enjoying the game. This was like the era of the industry understanding Josh, knowing that the guys who made... I think that was kind of there with Uncharted 2 in 2009, but like the idea of the guys who made Crash, who made Jak and Daxter, are now making this new series. And I remember my uncle playing through Uncharted 1. Because again, this is Josh prior to even having a part-time job, so I didn't have access to like infinite money. By Uncharted 3, it was at a point where I was working part-time and could pick up the game, which I did at launch. But just remembering, like, I remember with Uncharted 1, it was this whole thing. It's like, wow, Nathan Drake, when he goes in the water, like, his clothes are wet and they will dry over time.
Yeah.
And the story that was there with Uncharted 2 and 3 just felt like this popcorn flick, action adventure, Indiana Jones style, set pieces and great characters. And, like, to this day, Uncharted means so much to me in terms of, like, defining me as a player of games. My son is named Nathan. Like, it's something where it's like, it really had an impact on me. It was kind of like not that I was like the only one playing it, because Uncharted was huge, but I was like, this was like Josh's champion game. This was like the game, back in the console war days. It's like,
Yeah.
we have Uncharted.
This was like,
Yeah,
this was like their trump card kind of thing.
Yeah, we had Uncharted, and I mean, what a generation! Like PS3, like that's another conversation, but it's like Uncharted 1, 2, 3, Last of Us between 2007, 2009 with Uncharted 2, 2011 with Uncharted 3, and then Last of Us in 2013. Like in one generation, we got some of the best games I think ever created. Little unknown fact about Uncharted 3. The beginning of the game, there's a bar fight that you fight in with Nathan and Sully, and there's a newspaper there that if you zoom in, shows details about a cordyceps outbreak that would ultimately be a teaser for Last of Us, that a developer forgot to take out of the game and was never picked up on until after the announcement of The Last of Us.
That's funny as.
Yeah.
That's like an Easter egg they didn't even know about.
They forgot it was there because if you remember, like the Video Game Awards 2011, so the year that Uncharted, I don't know if Uncharted won that year because it was up against Arkham City. I can't remember who won Game of the Year, but it was definitely nominated. They announced Last of Us that year, and it was like this big thing because it was the first time we got confirmation that Naughty Dog had split into two teams.
Yeah.
And we were getting the announcement of one game whilst the other one was, being nominated for Game of the Year. So
I think Arkham City won that year, if I think about it.
yeah, I can't remember. I think was Red Dead in there as well, like the first Red Dead, like 2011 was. Oh, Skyrim. I think Skyrim won because Skyrim was also 2011. It was like Arkham City, Skyrim, Uncharted 3.
Skyrim.
Yeah,
Skyrim.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, what a game, what a series.
Minecraft also came out that year.
Crazy time.
Yeah, wow.
Funny enough, sticking with Naughty Dog, this is the other
Surprise.
Josh game, and this is The Last of Us.
Yep.
Again, this is one where I picked up at launch and was like the first 10 out of 10, undisputed, one of the best games and one of the most important games of all time. To this day, we're seeing the effects and the ripples of that game, right? We're getting...
Yeah.
It completely changed the trajectory of third person action story driven games. We got a HBO series.
Yep.
Yeah, it's still still such a big IP for Sony. This is the game I was showing people when it's what video games can do. Naomi, my wife, who doesn't play video games, knows Joel and Ellie and has sat through part 2, because obviously by the time we were together, it was around the time of part 2, watched the HBO series, gets it, and it just shows the power of IP and how great the original Last of Us was.
Yeah, well, Naomi also sat through the Uncharted movie with me, you, and my ex-girlfriend.
She loves Tom Holland, so I think she would sit through anything. So.
And Mark Wahlberg. That was that. It was just unfortunate stance of Uncharted movie, the development hell of that movie.
Yeah, it was I think if Uncharted came out today with how Sony's now approach things, I think we would have got a better Uncharted series, a better movie with better casting. But it'll be funny. I think they are doing a sequel, right? And it'd be interesting to see the learnings from what they've done with everything else. I actually think now we will get an Uncharted 2 movie that is going to be well received, properly well received. The first Uncharted 1 was well received, the movie, well enough.
It was a popcorn flick.
Yeah. But yeah, I my bet is that Uncharted 2, the movie, will be much more well received, particularly by Uncharted fans, because we're why is Nathan Drake so young? Why does Mark Wahlberg not have a mustache? Why are you Sully? It just felt, it felt weird. Jumping ahead another year. Yacht Club Games, June 2014, Shovel Knight. This
game is a surprise factor for me. I know from you, and this was from that point where we were working together at this point.
Yeah.
If I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's hearing everything about you is what you enjoyed and what kind of style of game you liked. This was the outlier for me. I'm oh, Josh likes this game, but do tell.
Yeah, because I'm not of the era of the 2D platformer, right? I was more PS1, which was naturally inherently 3D. But why Shovel Knight is super important to me, because a few things. I remember it being my gateway into indie games, and there were others before. There was Flower. There was a lot before Shovel Knight. But for some reason, it's I've got this vivid memory of remembering the game being announced on Kickstarter and understanding what Kickstarter is. The idea of this game being made by a smaller team that is taking inspiration of games of old and modernizing it. And I just loved it. I just thought that it was came out at the right time. Now it's a different world. Shovel Knight 2 can come out today and be fantastic, but it'll just join a list of really great indie platformers, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the Hollow Knight 1 situation for you, or for others. Shovel Knight was for me. But it really opened my eyes to like different games, and was so well supported. I mean, you got the Treasure Trove collection. They like released 2 or 3 like significant updates where you can play as different characters. That was completely free. It was kind of part of the original deal when it was kickstarted. I don't know, like it's just one of those series that's like ingrained in my mind when I think of 10 games. Shovel Knight is on there for some reason. Like it's just yeah.
Like you said, it sets your precipice for like your first indie title, and like it definitely opens that pathway of exploring other indie games. That's what I think is important about it. Like everyone, the significance of that is important.
Yeah, and played fantastic on Vita. That was.
That's it. The Vita's
king. Handheld's
ahead of
come
its
back.
time.
Yeah.
Vita is life.
Vita is life, literally. So, last 2 games for me, for the 10 games that define me. This one should be no surprise. The last 2 I've kind of spoken about more recently because they are more recent games. So, jumping ahead 6 years into 2020, the dawn of the pandemic, was Final Fantasy VII Remake. You've heard me speak about this game so much, but I've never... Metal Gear's the other series that maybe do this. Go down the rabbit hole, and I guess Kingdom Hearts as well, but go down the rabbit hole of like string theories and the game in a series that is a remake of the 7th game in a long-running series to kickstart a love affair with a franchise that is now resulted in me going and playing multiple games of the series that aren't connected and playing the sub games, and I'm playing Final Fantasy Tactics that I've got sealed still. That's going to be my first experience playing that. Playing Crisis Core, and then playing the remake of Crisis Core. Watching Advent Children, and then falling in love and having an extreme nostalgia for a game series that I had never played before. Because everyone knows Cloud, everyone knows Aerith, everyone knows Sephiroth, everyone knows, these characters, even though you hadn't played the game before. Yeah. And to be captured in such a way that immediately, I think what elevated this game for me, beyond the merits of the game, which I think is extremely fantastic, is a YouTuber named Maximilian Dude, whose favorite game of all time is Final Fantasy VII, and he's the guy who does all these like crazy string theories about like remake. It's kind of a sequel, and Sephiroth kind of knows what happened in the first game and is trying to change things, and it's the question of fate, and the whispers are a reflection of the audience not wanting anything to change from the original game. Like all these things, like I was like, and I'd all of a sudden be watching these 3-hour like breakdown of how Final Fantasy VII Remake isn't a remake.
It's a retelling.
It's a retelling, and the whole concept, it's not even just a retelling, it's a remake in the literal sense that it's remaking the story in a meta way. And I think that can only be done with this game. Like, I don't think, like, if Uncharted gets remade down the track, they're not going to, like, subtly hint that Nathan Drake has, like, connection to the original games and understands the events of that. So right time, right place, pandemic. It just kick-started this love affair with the series, and it's 7 Remake is one of my favorite games of all time. I'll hand over to you for just a sec.
Yeah, it's so funny when you think about, like, for people, Josh was not a Final Fantasy kid at all. That's the slightest. And now that spawned his love for going back and played the original. He then ended up playing Final Fantasy 16 that he
love.
He quite enjoys. Like, I wasn't a big fan of Final Fantasy 16. I was just like, whatever. But I did enjoy Final Fantasy 7. I did have some friends who were like, oh, it's only like the first chapter of, it's like only like the first third of the game in Final Fantasy 7. They spent 4 years making it. How are they going to do it again in 4 years just to finish the game? But once you realize that it's that, because the first game is pretty much the kind of like the first part of the story.
The first 5 hours of the original. You can get out of Midgar within 4 hours in the original Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, but it's like, it's so much point for point very similar with like some little nuances, but then Rebirth is like, okay, this is a different game,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, it's a yeah. So all those string theories make a lot more sense
And we're right.
now, and then they were right, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. I quite enjoy the Final Fantasy VII series. I'm looking forward to this thing being a completed trilogy
Yeah, me
and
too.
getting the final chapter soon.
We might
I
get a
hope.
trailer this year at Game Awards. Like, it's crazy, but the way that they've developed these games, like, you know, they were like 7 years apart.
Yeah,
Not even. No, not even. Well, in terms of development time, like Final Fantasy VII Remake 2020, Rebirth 2024, February 2024. So
yeah,
four
it came
years
out last
there.
year.
So 5, 6, 7, 8 would be 4 years. So like we could start getting its first announcement Game Awards this year. Like we're nearly there. And
Yeah,
again, right time, right place. And I think the whole Maximilian dude like hype train just got me on. And I've always been a fan of Japanese games, but I've definitely leaned more Japanese. In the PS4 generation in particular. I think like the PS3, you look at my list, there's a few, PS2 actually had a lot of Japanese games, like I think Kingdom Hearts and Metal Gear, but PS3 generation was like a lot of Western games. It was in fact the era
yeah,
where Japanese games were kind of like not succeeding, and they had a bit of a recession in Japan around, even like common games. Like look at Final Fantasy, right? Perfect example. Final Fantasy 13 during
yeah.
that PS3 era, JRPGs weren't really.
They took a hit.
They took a hit because it was like this move to HD and fast paced, and these games were still naturally very slow, like Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy. So a lot of the game design felt old, and people just seemed to move away from it. Now it's kind of come full circle where it's like that slower game paced design has caught up to modern sensibilities, and you've got like not needing to grind and
Yeah.
speeding the game up. But it's come full circle now where it's like they've also caught up in terms of storytelling and graphics to a certain degree where it doesn't feel so outdated. And now people like me are hooked on this style of game. So, yeah, that's a special game. Lucky last, again, this was done in release order, is Metroid Dread, Mercury Steam 2021. So the studio that did Castlevania Lords of Shadow, the first one's fantastic, the second's shit. But again, the concept of Metroidvania is something I've known about for a very long time, like for literally 10, 15, 20 years. Had played Metroidvanias before. But Metroid Dread had to do a lot to get me on board. Someone who hadn't at the time played a Metroid game before, wasn't a big Metroidvania guy, yet I couldn't put this game down when I picked it up in 2021. In fact, it was my game of the year that year. That was the year Returnal got snubbed. But Metroid Dread, again, very similar to Final Fantasy or Metal Gear, opened my eyes to this sub-series. And I've now gone back. It's funny, the one I haven't played is probably the most popular one, which is Super Metroid for the Super Nintendo. But I went back and played the remake of the original Metal Gear, the original Metroid game. So I think it was a Game Boy Advance remake of that. I played the 3DS remake of Metroid 2, which was also done by Mercury Steam. I went and played Fusion.
Metroid Advance.
Yep.
Metroid Fusion.
Which I played on the Nintendo, what's it called? Switch Online.
Switch Online.
I love Metroid Fusion. I thought that was like so far my second favorite. Keeping in mind I haven't played Super Metroid, so that's the one I need to get to. But yeah, in terms of like atmosphere, coolness, I just love the idea of like I just love the concept of like you lose all your things and then you're slowly over time becoming powerful. Getting all your suit upgrades back. Can't go into this area, it's too hot. Can't go into this area, it's too cold. Hey, I'm getting stalked by this thing. Like these very familiar Metroid things. But yeah, it's just it was a eye-opening moment. To the point where I would say Metroid's probably my favorite Nintendo IP. And super excited for Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, that's like I would put it up there for an IP for me. Like I think for me, it's like Donkey Kong, then Metroid, then Zelda, in that order. But man, Metroid Prime Dread. Oh, sorry, Metroid Dread. Oh my god, such a good game. That game really did exactly what you said. Like it encapsulated me, and that boss fight at the end is hard. So I don't care what anyone says. That boss fight for me was so hard to get to, like to get through correctly without dying.
Yeah.
Man,
You had to
that I
learn.
was sweaty.
Yeah, I got so good at it at the end. Like I remember, like it's just like, oh, he's doing the move where he's like shooting, so you like jump, do the the shock jump around it, or he's doing this special move, so you do like the big bomb. Like I just had it locked in, and then the parry mechanic that was implemented there, which was from the remake of 2, like it felt so buttery smooth to play.
Yeah, and that game ran. It didn't run at 60, did it? No.
I
Did
think
run at
it
60?
definitely ran more than 30. I think it was 60. It could have even been higher. Like it ran flawlessly on Switch.
I'm pretty sure it ran 60 because that game looked fantastic, and I experienced very little slowdown.
Yeah, and it's such a shame Mercury Steam, like they released a game this year called I don't even remember what it was called.
It did
Like
run at 60.
run at 60. It was like Lords of Fire or something. It was kind of like a spiritual successor to like what the Lords of Shadow games were, and it was just a solid 6.5, 6 game out of 10. I'm like, man, why didn't you just go straight to developing the next 2D Metroid? Maybe they are on the side, because Nintendo was heavily involved in that development. And for those who know Metroid's history, Dread was like this mystery game that was presumed cancelled, that was rebooted. So yeah, I'm very much a 2D Metroid guy. I need to play Super Metroid. Like that is like another game of shame type thing. But yeah, Metroid Prime 4 comes out next month, and perhaps buying that amiibo. I'm waiting that the media press just got hands on with Metroid Prime 4 yesterday. So we'll get previews. If the previews are positive, I'll be buying that amiibo now, just to have. I want a Samus.
Yeah.
And I could get the Dread one with the suit, but I prefer the full on Metroid suit. Whether I get the more expensive one with Samus on the bike, maybe, because it does look pretty cool, or I just get the basic amiibo, which is like just her in her full kit. We'll see. So
I quite like. Yeah, see, this is the thing about, like, because we saw Metroid Prime 4, like we saw what it looked like, and it did look good, but there's only so much we can see from a demo running on. It was running on Switch 2, which was good.
120 frames,
yeah.
like 4K, like this has to be good. I've got no doubt that this game's not going to be anything less than great, because I think they know what it needs to be, and they've given it so much time that I feel like if it launches and it isn't at least a 9 or in the mid 80s on Metacritic, I think it'll be seen as a bit of a failure, like in terms of critical reception. But
considering the development hell that this thing went through and the amount of rebuilds it got, like this game needs to succeed for Metroid.
Yeah. So super looking forward to that. It will be my final game I play this year, I would say, in terms of release. We'll see. I've got to get through, like I said, Ghost, Digimon. Then I'm going to jump to Ninja Gaiden. Then it will be Metroid, and then maybe I wrap up into January with Final Fantasy Tactics, because that's like a great Portal game. But anyway,
yeah,
I think you're frozen. But that's a discussion for another day.
That's it. That is it. That's a discussion for another day.
Exactly. I'm going to bring us back to full screen through the power of being a producer. But Vinny, a long one today, but I think an important one. You got to know us a little bit more.
Yeah, this is it. This is what we're all about. We're doing this for us, obviously, but we're doing it for, people who want to know us a little bit more. Maybe people want to understand. People want to like, subscribe. People want to tune in every other Tuesday. Thursday. I don't even know what days we do it.
Well, you'll find out. But to Vinny's point, please like, comment, and subscribe. And you know what? Give us your 10 games that define you. Let us get to know you a little bit, because we're not that interesting. Talking for myself here. But thank you for joining us.
We talk about lawns and Japan. Who knows?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. It was a long one. We may even spread out these top 10s 10 game defining lists into separate videos, because I think it's probably worth doing so.
I think so too.
But thank you for joining us. Vinny, send us away.
May the power protect you.
Goodbye. See you in a fortnight.